Hi, everyone, and welcome. I am joined with Stefan and Stefan. The other Stefan Kraus will join us in just a little bit. But I have the other Stefan. I get those mixed up sometimes. Once he told me that both you guys were named Stefan, I'm like, what is this madness?
Yeah, but we are written differently. I'm written with PH and he's written with an F.
Yeah, but they're pronounced the same. I presume,
exactly the same, yes.
Who decided to do that? Anyway, so today we have some updates and things for you. A couple of announcements, which we'll save for later on. But real quick, I just wanted to show this little scene that we kind of had done before, but Stefan had taken this scene that I had made to begin with. Hey, he's here. Hey, what's up?
Oh, all good here. Hi.
Glad you're able to come in. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Looking forward to Christmas.
Oh yes, I think everyone is ready.
Yeah. So let me see. Let me quickly join the stream here.
Yeah, we just literally got started 30 seconds before you hopped on.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so good deal. We hadn't made any announcements just yet. I was going to leave that honor up to you on if you had any major announcements. I know tomorrow's a good one. But I was just going to show them real quick this terrain that I had given you and what your magic wonders were able to recreate from this blank terrain. And I'm sure some people have seen this on the Discord channel. But this is just a testament of some amazing texturing techniques that you're able to do with all these different colors. But one of the cool ones was the Voronoi filter is in here. So let me remove the clouds. You said you did these little alien eggs with the Voronoi filter?
Right. Yeah.
I haven't actually dove in to see exactly how you did that. Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Interesting. So there's been a few filters that were added since the last time we've updated, but that's not the big topic today. We'll just start a new project here and change our precision to 8 meters. So the new things that are going to be really interesting for everyone today. Hold on 1 second. All right. So the new features that are going to happen today are the height map imports, which is really cool. So in the custom base shape tab here, we can create, as we've seen before in the previous broadcasts, some being able to, paint and do all sorts of things with the terrain, custom shape it any way you want. If you haven't seen any of the previous broadcasts where we showcase how to do some of these things, I would definitely recommend check those out because we go into pretty much really in depth with those. I don't think there's been much new since the last time we streamed this, apart from being able to, subdivide it a few different ways, which is really nice. We can also now flip everything, so we can rotate the entire terrain, flip it any way you want. But the cool thing that I'd like to do today is showcase the flatten, reset, and import, and particularly this import option. So what I know, the import allows us to import PNGs and JPEGs, but what are the types of limitations right now? Are they all going to be 16-bit or 32-bit float available yet?
Yeah, TIFF 16 is supported, and PNG 16 is also supported.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
No, it's fine. So I know at some point we're going to be able to change the overall size of the terrain. So the couple height maps that I'm going to showcase today are not 2K, but they're much, much larger than 2K. So do keep in mind that the height maps that we'll be using are not meant for this particular scale, but it still shows the point that you can still use that. In previous streams, we floated around with the topic of being able to import like custom brushes or custom shapes, different things like that. And that's still, I guess, planning to be sort of in this custom base shape browser.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes, absolutely.
There's been a few other things that have also been floating around, which we might touch on later, especially when people start asking about caves and vector displacement. If that's even going to still be a thing. So,
yeah.
So that it is for sure, right? Being able to vector displace.
Yeah, we have this on the roadmap as well. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good feature actually. I love it too.
Mm-hmm. So to clarify with the vector displacement, how is that going to translate to? I know is it going to be something that you have to commit to when you're done getting the generalized height, values figured out, and you convert it to a mesh after you've done the generalized terrain, or you have a way to do it in line with creating the terrain as a whole at the same time?
The vector displacement will be added on top of everything because it's not part of the generation at all.
Mm-hmm. Not part of
so
that.
So it's just using vectors to displace the terrain afterwards. This is, as mentioned, actually it's not really useful for real height maps. It's just useful if let's say if you have another application that consumes those height maps together with those vector maps, then it makes sense to use them. But else, it's not possible to export that height map because you would have something like overhangs,
right?
Which is not, it can't be projected by a simple height map. It's not possible.
Gotcha. I didn't know if you were to, in this case, just do this, for example, if my mouse would allow me to do it. Say, for example, you had this, cliff here, and you were able to export the height map of this cliff, but you wanted to, within World Creator, design some mesh right here that helps the opening of a cave or an overhang. And, people have asked me before if it's able to do caves. And I've said, ideally what you would do is the actual cave structure internally would have to be a mesh. You would always want that to be a mesh within whatever application the final product is going to be in, I would assume. And then the terrain itself would just be masked in with a hole here where you can, with vector displacement, still model what you want this opening to be like, and then merge the two different meshes in a third-party program. I'm assuming that's the best method still.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay, so going back to the height maps, that's one of the major things that we can finally do now, which being able to recreate real-world scenarios, albeit right now, like I said, keep in mind the scale. But also another thing that matters is the amount of subdivisions you have here on the terrain. So you can see there's X amount of subdivisions on the terrain. And whenever you increase that, that's going to obviously subdivide the height maps generation even more fine-tuned, just like you would in something like Blender or Maya, where you're taking a plane and subdividing it to add displacement. The more subdivisions you have, the more smooth it's going to be. And so if we were to say, go ahead and import the Grand Canyon, for example, you can see at this amount of subdivisions, it looks one way. But if we were to really increase the subdivision and re-import that, then it'll look a completely different way to more true to what the height map would be. And how you decide how you want to use that is completely up to you. If you want to start out broad with lower subdivisions and add your own detail on top of that, you can, or you can start off with this amount of detail, which we're going to do here, and reduce detail to add your own world creator detail back. So there's multiple different ways to do it. And also, whenever you do these subdivisions, keep in mind whatever the resolution of your height map is. I realize that could be a difference too, to a degree. It's not going to be as an imperative thing as with World Creator 2 because there's no levels, right? I mean, you don't have to worry about what level or series of level steps that this height map is being imprinted on. So like how did you guys basically implement this, since we've kind of are understood from the beginning from World Creator 2 that in order to do this in order to import a height map is based off level steps, but now you just basically the height map is as if you were doing the custom base shape and sculpting it to begin with on your own, correct?
Yeah, right. Well, it's actually the same approach, but what we do is to displace the cells depending on the height values at the specified subdivision level, right? So
yeah, just like we showed just then.
Yeah, it's a way more. I would say it's a way more intuitive, more easy approach than using like in World Creator 2 the areas, you know. Because I mean the custom base shape feature. Oh, that's really nice lighting here. The custom base shape feature is one of those core things that we improved, and you will see later on there will be more tools that will work with the custom base shape tool, allowing you to really design a fantastic terrain. There will be brushes, there will be further height map imports, there will be stamping that is working with the custom base shape. So this will be really, really, really nice. But many cried for a simple way to import height map, so we added this one here. There will be later on a dialog where you can import raw files and all this. But for now, it just works, out of the box for typical files.
Yeah, and that's really cool.
What's also really cool is that the custom height map that you're importing, it's not saved in the project file because it just uses to displace the cells. So yeah, we did not have a lot of work with the saving at all. It actually, yeah. I mean, in World Creator 2, it was like saving away those height maps, right? Because they were the ones that used by the areas. And this also slowed down a lot of things in World Creator 2, but it's not necessarily doing it like that in World Creator 3 anymore.
One thing that I really like about importing it this way is that you can still go back and, like I'm just doing here, shaping it if you wanted to reshape something. If you wanted to, knock off this piece. I don't like this piece, so we're just gonna lower it a little bit. And so that's really nice that you can be able to do that. Whoops. Right. So, depending on what height map you have in here, depends. This scale is like a whole lot larger, so the quality of the height map could really help guide how far you want to take your detail. Because some people want to be able to take a location on our own Earth and try to, recreate that as close as possible. And a lot of height maps in a lot of places in the world are really hard to get. So you have to start off with low data to begin with. So, being able to have this level of control with importing the height map straight away and cutting it and carving it and shaping it the way adding the filters as close as possible to try and match those real world terrains. I think this is a much faster way of doing it than with World Creator 2. That's for sure.
Right.
You can just come in here. I can add where is it at? Denoise to kind of remove some of the top shelf a little bit. Add a little bit of it back. We could, where is that at? Add some mountain cliff sides to kind of rough up the cliff edge. We can also definitely add the canyon filter to sharpen up the edges a little bit more, or double click on a filter to duplicate it. And on the second one, I can just lower its strength down a little bit, or say that I want this one to always be affecting broader detail and not all this high detail. And we could also say, where did I have this before? Make the cliffs more prominent. Because I've been to the Grand Canyon and the cliffs are quite strikingly steep. So I believe there is a resort about on this ledge, and you look in there. I mean, it's not 100%, but it's pretty darn close. Try and get my sun comes up over here in the Grand Canyon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So also we know that the Grand Canyon has a river too. So let's add water. Let's just assume what the canyon would look like, you know, if Earth flooded. And and let's see. Clarity is down to 0. And let's just lower this a little bit. Super graceful. Oh, okay. So here's one thing that I thought of last night that I wanted to bring up as far as a feature with these. Anything that has a like a height set, like water offset, for example, or particularly if I do this with, let's just say the mountains, and I decide to add a distribution of a height distribution. All right. So this is one thing that I think would be really handy. So, you know, we have the sliders here where we can control what the height values are, but, and, you know, it definitely is going to be easier to obviously to see where these are with heat maps and stuff. But another really cool selection tip that I think would be really nice to implement is if you select one of these nodes, let's just call them, or dots of adjustment. And if there was a way that with one of them highlighted, you can save the highlight so you know that you're wanting to specify that's the one you're wanting to adjust, and come over here into the viewport and click the value. So if I want the top value here to not be 333, but I want it to be exactly where my cursor is at the top of this cliff, and click, and it automatically connects, you know, kind of like observer tools. It links those values together. Or even the bottom value. If I want the bottom value to always be right here at the water edge, in this example, I'll just click and it will change the value to. So it's just a quick way, say, instead of me trying to mess with the, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me put that into the Trello again. That's a really pretty cool idea. Actually, we could do the same for the slopes.
Yeah, yes. For the slope, if you, or for many, it's another way of, you know, quickly selecting. Like if I like how the slope of this area, maybe the slope, maybe the slope of this area, maybe it's like a mask. I want to include all the slopes that are in this particular mask that you made, that you were able to save in like a mask saving library. I want to save this clip as a range of slopes to include, and you can also feather that out if you want to feather that out.
Yeah.
So just something of a quick thing to, you know, select different items.
That's a really nice idea. It is like a pipette. in Photoshop, where you can just select a specific feature for a specific tool. That's a really nice idea.
Yeah.
We'll call it the Tyler adjustment.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Oh, let's see. What is the resolution of the imported height map that I've used? Oh, the resolution of this particular one is 1081 by 1081. Not very big. It's just, one from terrain.party that I just grabbed. So yeah, the real scale of this is several miles. I mean, and to add that to complexity, several kilometers. I don't know. I think from here to here is probably like 30 kilometers or so or more. It's pretty large. Will the text, the texture looks as good as if you export it to Unreal Engine, or will there be small difference? So let's see. I'm thinking of getting into this for animation. So when it comes to texturing, I think that's a whole new ball game with how the different programs treat texturing. Before, everyone would say the textures in Unreal Engine don't look anything like the textures look in World Creator 2, and that's because one, the applications treat rendering completely different, and two, the way materials are treated is not in the same pipeline, so to speak. And you would always want to use, like in World Creator 2's example, use World Creator 2 to create, splat maps, heat maps, alpha maps, in order to use those masking elements in Unreal Engine or Unity or whatever game engine that you're using, and use those masking maps to recreate the textures within those applications, because those applications have much more strenuous or intuitive texturing pipelines that work with their engines, their custom engines. I don't know what you guys have in play for World Creator 3. I'm assuming it's still the same realm, but like even now in World Creator 2 and as well in World Creator 3, I'm sure you can export the entire terrain as a single color map to use in any of those engines now, and it would look just fine. You would just have to, in Unreal and Unity, create the structure for importing all the different textures, like the albedo, the normal, roughness, and all that stuff to get that into play. But whenever you export a terrain of this size and you export a single texture of this size, I would probably be using that texture for like a distant terrain, not something close up, because the texture is going to be super blurry when you're down at a person's scale. Unless you guys had something else special for texturing with World Creator 3.
Excuse me?
From what I said, did you guys have anything special for exporting textures from World Creator 3 as far as getting them into other applications? Is the workflow still, splat maps, heat maps, alpha maps?
Well, that's actually the ones that are mostly used, mostly common with everything. You have, I mean, this is the most modular way you can do actually, and every application, can import stuff. So, yeah, actually, this would be the best approach. Yeah, this would be the best approach.
This is the most. Yeah, this is the most common way how the most engines, the most developers, the most customers of us, how they actually import the output of World Creator is with maps. So yes, this still stays.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's still the pipeline that I would use too. It seems a pretty common way of doing it. And, it gives more level of control. I didn't know if, some people were asking about, exporting, like if you were to texture the terrain in World Creator 3 and then export the terrain as a whole mesh that you want to use as, a baked mesh, then potentially, you could use the textures and stuff that were part of this particular mesh in another application. But again, I wouldn't use them for a close-up shot, so to speak.
Right. I don't know if it even would make sense to have a, like a full texture terrain available as a mesh, because to keep the resolution, you would have to export a lot of data. Actually, that would be really huge. Yeah, we're not talking about models like a car or something like that. It's a really huge array with a lot of information. I don't know how large is a 2K terrain? It just has a few megs, and 4K you already have. I don't know. I have to calculate, but it's really huge. Regardless, most applications just won't allow you to import such a high detailed mesh.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me see quickly. Keep closing the doors.
I know exactly what you mean. See, are there moving cameras example for cinematics within the program? So World Creator 2 had savable camera locations, but are you guys going to, in addition to having still cameras, have cameras in here that are going to be, where you can set a path to, so that you can create a movable camera shot?
Yeah. We want that to be included in World Creator, but just at a later point. So yeah, I don't know when this feature is coming, but we want to have animations. We want to have scene creations where you can, place cameras and switch the cameras, and place objects and all this stuff. So yeah.
I could tell you that that's one feature that I would absolutely love for tutorials.
Yeah.
I know that last one in World Creator 2, I set the camera speed to like 0.01 and just held the W key or whatever it was for a long time to get a smooth shot. So yeah. Let's see. 16 million polys in Houdini. So what's the max poly count? I'm curious in World Creator 3.
This depends. We could import.
Just say infinite.
It always depends on the amount of RAM you have and the amount of video memory you have.
Right.
I bet you can't import 60 polygons on a low-end GPU, so it's not possible. I will have its luck as well. The question is what makes sense and what does not make sense. So we're not a how's it called? We're not a modeling application like Cinema 4D. We're not something like Houdini that is doing everything in one single application. We want to keep this application as performant as only possible for terrain creation and for terrain design. So we focus on this mainly. So everything is just optimized for this. World Creator is a solution that is just perfect for terrains, and that this is what we're going to improve, right? So yeah, it depends what you want to do.
I could calculate it for you. How much your graphic card would be able to have on the same viewport.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we need to make it. We want it to be real time. So this is one of the major things that the World Creator needs to be. Every feature we include, the highest priority is it real time capable, and if it's not, then we have to either look for another solution to have this feature enabled, or we just have to drop it because it's not real time capable. That's what we're after, having it real time, and it must work. It just must work fluently.
And that is why we basically have this limitation in compared to our competitors, because we want everything in real time, and that's why we are strongly depending on the graphics card. and also of the capability and the size of the memory. That's our main limitation. So if you have a new graphics card with 24 gigabytes of memory, you can easily fit 60 by 60 or 32 times 32 map, because it fits in the memory. That's the whole point.
Yeah, but it won't be real time then. No. Anyways, so it's always a trade-off between everything. But for this, we already have a solution. The upcoming tiling system, where you can add tiles into any direction to a terrain. Yeah, this is a rendering thing. Underwater is not supported yet. But this is.
I didn't mean to go under there.
No, it's no problem. It's no problem. I want the water to be more realistic, because currently you don't have reflections. You don't have those typical foam along the shorelines. You don't have underwater looks and all this. But this is coming. This is coming. We need to update a little bit the terrain renderer, and then we can have this feature included. And this will look completely amazing. And I cannot wait to create those tropical island scenes with a new water system. So this will be really cool. However, the new tiling system is going to solve this. The real-time trade-off between being real-time and having really huge, creating really huge landscapes, vast landscapes. Yeah, this is something that you could not do in World Creator 2 now that easy. In World Creator 3, this will be just like very, very easy. Very straightforward and really fast.
That's good. We all love to hear that.
Yeah.
So I'm just messing around while you guys chat about awesome stuff that we all love to see.
I personally cannot wait to see the trees and the vegetation things in World Creator 3 with the new rendering system.
Oh yeah, definitely. Being able to I know you said the water's not finished yet, but just this looks really. I love how water is treated, even right here with the canyons kind of creeping up. So being able to see how caustics and double-sided foliage work with trees, I'd be really interested to get involved in that. So with trees, that brings up a whole new topic that we haven't talked about yet in these, as far as y'all's planning is, y'all's pipeline is concerned. I'm sure the question will come up with trees and foliage. Can you export the foliage to another application like Unity and Unreal, and that the exact model structure of the foliage that you export from this program go into that program? And my answer in a general answer to that would be it's not that simple, because the third-party programs are a whole lot. They treat foliage differently as far as where they're placed. I mean, I guess you can export a mesh of all the foliage as one single mesh, but
it would be really huge.
it would be ungodly in size, but still with the application, splat maps, text, heat maps, alpha maps, using typically how foliage works with placement in programs like Unreal Engine is you would always want foliage and rocks and grass and things to be placed primarily where certain materials are going to be placed. So like if I want grass to always appear where this green is, then you would tie the grass to this particular texture and it would be faded out just like this, and you would change those pipelines. But I'm assuming in World Creator 3, you can, just like we've done with the custom base shape we can paint in where we want a forest or where we want rocks to go. And then those placements could create their own mask.
Well, I think there would be two approaches that we should have, or what we should use. One approach would be like using masks, like we do in World Creator 2. But I think there should be another one for more detailed placing and for exact information, and that is like like an XML structure, where you just save away every single instance on the terrain. as an XML file, containing all this information. I mean, that would be the most accurate way you could do. And I think XML is a good choice because it's open, everybody can read it, everybody can modify it, and and it's really fast when parsing XML files. So this is something that probably makes a lot of sense. So if you want to have just a quick representation of the terrain in another application, you could use mask. If you want to have an exact representation of the terrain in another application, then you would have to write your own stuff or using another plugin or whatever to be able to read an XML file and placing your trees or other objects.
Mm-hmm.
That would include position, scaling. It would include what textures were used, what models were used, what rotation, whatever further details. So this would be one approach. I would focus on that with my kid, and she's screaming just as all day. Let me quickly this.
No worries, he's chatting. So there was a question, is there a weather system within the program? Right now, I was just showing that there's, you can change all the lighting and clouds and stuff. I don't know if they're going to have like storms and stuff, if that's what you mean, or visible rain, but you can change.
Depends on how you define weather.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It depends on how you define currently the weather system is clouds and sun and water and atmosphere, everything in this environment tab. But, I could see if you want with the cinematic camera to create rain and snow, I'm sure that's a possibility, but I don't know if it's something that they'd want to do.
I'm not going to promise anything anymore.
Yeah, don't. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't think that that's a high priority right now, but I did.
It's not a high.
Yeah,
we should not forget that World Creator is mainly a terrain generator, right?
Yes, it's a terrain generator first.
To become a really awesome renderer as well, besides the terrain generation, because we want to have some really great landscape shots and all this. And we would love to have animations included, and we would love to have awesome clouds, better clouds. We love to have a pure weather system with snow and water and all this. So this is everything where I can say, yeah, of course, it's technically possible. And yes, I am interested to have this included, but it's not the main goal. So it's nothing you can expect next month or maybe the next year, because we first have to make sure that this every single feature that makes a terrain generator and a terrain creation system more valuable to everyone must be included first. So these are just add-ons, and I don't know how we're going to treat these, but probably we already had talked about this internally. We already talking about a modular system or modules that you could just can purchase on top and connect with your current World Creator instance, and then you have better clouds, or you have storm, or you have wind, or whatever. So this would be a pretty nice approach for sure. But I kind of promise it's something that we gotta do next year. So, und jetzt raus. Raus und Tür zu. Und der nächste, der runterkommt, der kommt von mir eine ganze Woche Fernsehverbot.
I think the other weather system that he was talking about was the simulations like we did in World Creator 2. I know that I've even thrown around a simulation or a filter that's specifying snow placement, like a snow filter. Yeah. So running a simulation based on the type of snow, if it's a wet snow, if it's a dry snow, if it's heavy in certain areas. So that type of simulation would be really cool. And I'm sure they'll have a water one as well.
Yeah, it will be better. It will be faster, because the one that we created was a bit too slow, in my opinion. And yeah, we had that idea with those different surface layers, which just slowed down things a lot. So we'll have a different particle simulation system running here in WordCreator 3.
Right.
But this is one of the later features that we're going to add by end of 2021 or maybe early 2022.
Mm-hmm. And you can already kind of adjust just this.
Yeah.
With texturing, you can kind of already fake in some. Of course, I'm not spending a lot of time on it, but you can already do some flow simulations with just the textures, basically.
Yeah.
So let's. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. So as y'all can see, you can make a lot of really great things really quick. I'm gonna hop on over to a different terrain real quick. Actually, I didn't mean to do it. So. Actually, I don't know why I did that. I could just start a new project. So while I jump into this next quick terrain, let's talk about sort of what's the current framework of a pipeline for people, the next phasing of people to get access to the program. I know that there's going to be a difference. There's going to be a certain group of people you said that are going to get access on a certain day, if you want to say that.
Yeah, of course. So everyone who owns the Pro version or the bundle version or the enterprise version of WordCreator,
which is
excuse me?
Is it these two versions right here? You said the professional and the enterprise.
And there's a bundle. I mean, those who purchase the bundle license as well, because we have a bundle license. So they have the professional, but only the pro bundles. So every one of those will have access to WordCreator 3 tomorrow on 23rd December. I'm going to stay up a little bit today just to upload it for you guys so you can start it. Just in a couple of hours. The version that Tyler has here, it's a little bit more. It's a little bit newer version. We have like on the custom page here, we have those drop downs are gone. We have no buttons there. We have fixed a few more bugs, also especially for the AMD GPUs. So everyone gets access to it, and you can play with it, you can test it. But please keep in mind, it's not beta; it's an alpha, just as listed in the viewport to the bottom left.
Correct.
So
alpha.
It might crash. It might have some strange behavior sometimes. If it does, then please feel free. Collect all this information and send it over to support@bytebytes.com. We are going to collect those. So it's like an internal public alpha testing. So we're looking for information. We're looking for bugs. We're looking for, especially for compatibility issues with different GPUs. WordCreator 3 runs well so far on NVIDIA GPUs. We have also some AMDs where it just runs perfectly. But then we have some AMDs like a 560, where it seems to be not that stable. But it's really hard to find the issue. So, but there's a log file that you can send us over to them, so we can take a look at it. So this is what I will help a lot to make it more stable and bring up the things that you want. Oh, the Intel GPUs shouldn't be a problem, I guess, but I think you won't have a lot of fun with on Intel GPUs. So I highly recommend true desktop GPUs that have really enough power. Intel is pretty nice. It saves you a lot of energy, meanings of money, but it's not the fastest one. Yeah, the CPU is not interesting for us. So if you have an i5, that would be way enough. So yeah, don't really care about the CPU. It's all GPU based. So GPU is the only thing that really counts. Yeah. So we're running. I mean, on our systems, we have a 2080 Ti where Recreator runs pretty awesome. Then we have 3090s. Not to mention, it's just like, you don't even see almost any kind of noise when building up the rendering. So it's really fast on the 3090. I also have tested it on 1080, which works pretty good. So this is all we're looking for. We need also those informations like you think it's fluent, it looks good. We haven't optimized too much yet, so more optimization will come. As said, it's an alpha build. And of course, we're looking for ideas and suggestions. So if you're well-known terrain generators, if you already used a lot of those, just feel free to push all your ideas and suggestions over to us. We're gonna make sure that, as long as if it makes sense, of course, and as long as it's not already on the list, then we just take care of it. Just as we did right now, what Tyler said with that pretty awesome idea of using those height sliders. Instead of using the slider, you could just click on the terrain and map it directly to the slider as a value. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So this is what we're looking for. Yeah. And of course, send us all your creations. Join us on Discord. Join us on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and send everything over you have. It's we're looking forward to awesome renders, especially now with WordCreator 3. So this will be like just another Christmas for me. For sure, personally, to see these fantastic renders people doing all around the world. So, that'd be cool.
Cool. Really glad to get more people involved. I'm sure everyone is really happy for that as well. Let's see. So I would like to point out, it does work really well on NVIDIA GPUs. I have a 2080 Ti, and Stefan, I know you guys have 3090s. Even with the 2080 Ti 11 gigs, it works really smoothly. And I'm sure with the 3090s, it works even better as well. So when it comes to GPUs, I'm sure we would love to hear if you've, performance feedback from everyone, especially if you have an AMD GPU. We'd love to hear that feedback. We also love to hear if you're trying to, heaven forbid, you're doing this on integrated graphics on a laptop. Still, just tell us how it worked with you. Which makes me think of a question of optimization. Do you guys, like before, have a thing where maybe there's a benchmark, or like how GeForce Experience will run through the program and see what the best optimal settings? Maybe there's some graphic settings to come that'll help you run the software better if you're on a lower grade system.
Could you please repeat just my nephew? Is it called nephew? I don't know. Just came into my office. He's 2 years old.
Oh.
Did you ask something, or did I just miss something?
I just brought up about being able to change graphical settings for lower tier systems to be able to run the software better on their end.
Yeah. We're gonna have quality sliders in the rendering tab. So you will be able to reduce the quality.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So und up. Yeah. But we also have the quality sliders for exactly this into another direction where you can even increase the quality. So
Mm-hmm.
If you want to have more samples, more arrays, and whatever, then you can increase these. So yeah, I think honestly, I really think that WordCreator 3 will be able to push out renders because it already does it almost. It just,
Mm-hmm.
just blown totally away like it's photoreal.
Exactly.
So we actually want to move into that direction. Yeah.
Okay. So, question, is the alpha released tomorrow? I just tuned in. So, yes, if you have a pro maintenance or enterprise subscription, you'll get the alpha version tomorrow.
That's why I'm happy.
Yeah, professional and enterprise only.
Yeah. Try out every single distribution. Combine the distributions. Add effects to the distributions to see them. Don't only just do a how's it called a distribution in another distribution. Also create distributions that are working parallel or simultaneously, each by how's it called? If you would now add another distribution to the biome, that you would have two height distributions at the same level.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of possibilities to texture your terrain.
Right.
Add as many noise, add as many structures as you just can add, and see what you can create with it. I mean, this is a really new, powerful system in texturing things. It's way more better than WordCreator 2. Way more accurate. We're gonna add. We'll have just for those, just to know that we're gonna have a paint distribution. The paint distribution compared like with the mask, where you just can paint the texture or the filter exactly at the location where you want it to where you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
This is for those where the distributions, let's say, just don't create what you want. Okay, then you can't even paint them. Yeah, sometimes you just need that. So, oh, that's cool here. That's nice.
Yeah, I'm just so for anyone who was curious, this is actually
No, not for how's it called, the Japanese volcano gator.
Yes.
How is that Japanese volcano called?
You mean Mount Fuji?
Mount Fuji, right.
We should model that mountain at some point in time.
Oh, it looks like Mount Fuji. What is missing is the hole at the top.
Yeah, right.
So actually, this is a mountain of Mount Hood in Oregon.
Okay. Oh, in Oregon, okay.
Yeah, it's a really popular mountain in Oregon.
Cool.
Another location I've actually been to.
One of the most famous mountains at the world generating or at the terrain community is Mount Rainier near Seattle.
That's
because
right.
it was, yes, because it is a long time standard terrain test field or area where most terrain generators or terrain algorithms test their capabilities.
Is it that one that we used?
Yes.
For climbing that way? The Puget Sound file, or how did we call it, right?
Yes, the large area with the with the volcano that exploded.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. So yeah, from this mountain, actually in this whole area, you can see Mount Rainier. It's really close to St. Helens and Hood as well.
Yeah.
Both of them are really nice. Anyway, so you guys get the idea that you can grab height maps from real world locations finally and be able to, re-represent those in any way that you want. So this is going to be a huge thing for as far as a learning application, because for me, the easiest thing to be able to learn how to create terrains realistically is obviously to grab them from, reference images from real world locations. So if you were able to find a location that you can easily get a height map of, like this, and you get all of the source material, reference material to be able to texture that and shape that, then try your best to, within this program, to recreate that as best as you can. And that'll help you, learn the software more, but it'll also help you learn how to be a better artist, environmental artist, to, design these shapes and forms. Because, height maps aren't the be all end all use for all locations. They're not going to have all the detail. I mean, I was able to add, all these filters to basically enhance the height map even more, and it makes it look a whole lot better in the end, because World Creator 3 has an immense amount of minute detail of control that you have over your height map.
So, okay, Tyler, I think it's time for me to leave.
Likewise, I think that is a good stopping place for all of us. That's pretty much all that I wanted to cover today, was height maps and, explaining to you guys the announcement for what you guys get tomorrow. So definitely grab it tomorrow, have fun, and let us know what you think. Questions, feedback these guys love feedback. So let us all know in Discord exactly what you run into, test everything out, and in doing so, we'll make a better product. All right. Any final last second questions, everybody? I'll give it one more second to roll through before we close the stream today. Quick reminder, yes, we try to have a live stream every week, planning on having one next week as well. So we're going to, even though you'll get the software tomorrow, you can have the software and the stream open every Wednesday, and we can try and create some terrains together. And that way it'll help you learn the software easier, ask questions on the fly as you work, and we can trial and error it together. Last question was, if for the people that get access tomorrow of World Creator 3, will they have access to World Creator 3 on Discord, of a discussion board?
Oh, the discussion board. We have a public discussion board on World Creator 3 already on Discord.
Yes, we do. We do.
Yeah, we do. We just have another internal alpha users, which means these are all the users that were also with us on World Creator 3, World Creator 2, alpha and beta. So yeah, just a bunch of people, and yeah, those people helped us a lot. To make it better and supporting some information. But yeah, I see them as almost like an internal team. So this is just this is a closed group. So just feel free to ask in the public World Creator 3 channels. If you want to have if you want to support us with suggestions, ideas, and bug reports or whatever, then just send things over to support@bytebytes.com. Let me quickly type it in here: support@bytebytes.com. bytes.com.
Yeah, there you go.
And send us all your reports. And if you do a report, then please make sure to send your GPU specs. So what kind of GPU you have. Make sure you have the latest GPU drivers installed. Be aware that you should have a quite modern GPU. Let's say everything that's above a 980 from NVIDIA or an equivalent AMD GPU would be just fine. Okay. that's it. Looking forward here.
Definitely. Well, thank you guys for joining me in this other state of development. Hope to looking forward to our next one.
Thank you, Tyler.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Tyler.
Awesome.
And Merry Christmas and happy holidays, right?
Merry Christmas
Merry
and happy
Christmas,
holidays.
Stay healthy, everyone.
Can't wait for it. Okay, then talk to you soon and bye.
See you guys. Thank you all for joining.
Bye.
Bye.